Hello and welcome to the Acro Football Titles channel. Today's analysis will be about the UEFA Champions League quarter-final second leg between Manchester City and Real Madrid. Manchester City faced off against Real Madrid in a mouth-watering second leg after their thrilling 3-3 draw at the Bernabeu. Two of Europe's best facing off yet again in a clash which saw City last season effortlessly sweep aside the 14-time UEFA Champions League winners. What strategies were on show as both sides couldn't be separated even after 120 minutes, with Real prevailing on penalties.
Real Madrid made one change, with Nacho coming in for the suspended Tchouaméni, while for Manchester City, they were blessed to have the return of their captain Kyle Walker in a strong boost to their defense, while KDB returned to the starting level. In today's video, we're going to be looking at the setups from both sides and the counter responses made by the opposite manager. Let's get straight into it. We begin with City on the ball, as he had a total of 826 passes. Real tried to press in a 4-4-2 mid-block, but time and again, City were able to always get past the front two of Bellingham and Vinicius Jr., even at times joined by Rüdiger and Valverde, to make it more of a pressing four. And there were ways that City got around this. Real Madrid tried to go man-to-man in their pressing. Rüdiger on Walker, Valverde and Guardiola, and more times one of Bellingham or Vinicius was going to be picking up Rodri. All this meant that Akanji was free to roam around the midfield spaces looking to pick up the ball unchallenged. Time and again, Akanji was always able to receive the pass from either Diaz unchallenged, or if the ball went through the wings, Diaz first to Guardiola, and Rodri was very skilled in taking away one of Bellingham or Vinicius Jr. And Akanji would then move into the midfield space to receive unchallenged from one of the centre backs. Real then sought ways of trying to stop the overload in midfield, and one of the ways they tried to do that was asking Camavinga to keep a close eye on Akanji anytime he was about to receive the ball from one of the centre backs. Most of the times, Camavinga was either late to get into Akanji, or Akanji had the presence of mind to spin around and to drive into the open spaces in behind the pressing Camavinga. Here, Real Madrid are trying to press man-to-man, with Valverde, Vinicius, Bellingham and Rüdiger all picking up their respective men. But as you can see here, Bellingham picking up Akanji means Rodri is free to receive the pass for Guardiola. This happened time and time again, as Real Madrid were constantly outnumbered 2v1 at the base of City's build-up. Camavinga was then asked to keep tabs on Akanji, but instead, Bernardo Silva made life difficult for him, as Bernardo Silva had the presence of mind to be positioned in a way that Camavinga couldn't fully commit to Akanji, as Bernardo Silva would have the time and space to receive in behind him and drive at the defense. Press could have some success, as they could force City wide, with the rest of the press backing up Rüdiger, with Bellingham tying up Rodri, Camavinga most times onto Akanji, but this then meant that Carvajal had to back up the press also, pushing onto the dropping Bernardo Silva. This could mean that Rüdiger will have to come wide left to keep an eye on Grealish. This would then leave Nacho 1v1 with Haaland, which is not a good sight for any defense. Here Real with their man-to-man press trying to force City into errors, as Camavinga has pushed right from defensive midfield into City's defensive third, trying to apply pressure on Akanji. And as we can see, Valverde has spotted the late midfield runs of Bernardo and is keeping an eye on it, meaning Carvajal has to push up from right back to press City's left centre back, Guardiola. Valverde is a very hard-working player, and at times he was given the task of covering two players, in Bernardo and Guardiola, as Real didn't want to take the risk of 1v1 in their defense, so Carvajal couldn't at all times apply pressure on Guardiola, instead had to stay in the defense and watch the runs of Grealish. City are now trying to take advantage of this 2v1 advantage on the left hand side, as Valverde sprints out to press Guardiola. Bernardo makes a late run
in behind the space left open by the Uruguayan. Soon enough, Real relented from their man-to-man press and began to give City centre-backs time and space on the ball. And Diaz is given time and space on the ball, with Vinicius now tracking the runs of Akanji and Bellingham on Rodri. Camavinga is caught in two minds as to whether to assist the press or to stay back and cover the midfield. KDB is anticipating a late move from Camavinga and positions himself right behind the Frenchman to try and exploit the gap. The time and space on the ball for the centre-backs attracts Bellingham and loses track of Rodri. Camavinga then tries to step onto Rodri, meaning as KDB anticipated, is free between the lines to receive the pass from Guardiola. City concentrated most of their play on the wide areas, especially the right. Toni Kroos was given the job of tracking the runs of KDB, whether deep into the midfield to receive the pass or his late runs in the half spaces between the centre back and full back. At times, City in trademark fashion would pull out the opposition full back, and then KDB will make the late run in behind and followed by Kroos, who was sometimes caught ball watching, leading to promising chances for City. Soon enough, Real began to sit deep, and the onus was on City to try and break down their defense. And there were a couple of ways in which City tried to do this. Foden pulls out Mendy, and now Akanji has pushed up from his pivot role into the right half space, attracting the attention of Kroos. KDB spins round the back and makes the run in behind to create a promising chance for City. Here again, Mendy is pulled out by Foden, meaning there's a big gap in Real Madrid's left back spot. Akanji once again is making the same run, and there's a big gap between Camavinga, who's meant to be pressing him. Akanji plays the wall pass in behind once again for KDB to make the same run and create another promising chance for City. Soon enough, Manchester City tried to break down the low block by asking KDB, Bernardo and Grealish to try to overload Real Madrid's right hand side, and this forced Valverde to drop into a right back spot, Real Madrid effectively defending in a fast five. Real Madrid effectively defending in a flat five, with Valverde joining the back line to be able to nullify City's 5v4 threat or overload in the attack. Now let's touch on the Real Madrid side of things. Whenever Real went short from goal kicks, City will be in a prime position to press them, with Haaland applying pressure on Nacho and Grealish from left wing coming in to apply pressure on Rüdiger. This made build up a little bit more difficult for Real as they constantly went long into Bellingham or into Vinicius Jr. There were ways for Real to get around this, and one of the common ways was the clip pass from Lunin over Grealish into Carvajal. And this created two problems for City. First problem was Carvajal could stride off pitch and create a 2v1 against Guardiola. This could also create another problem, as when the clip pass from Lunin is coming into Carvajal, Guardiola sometimes will push up from left back to apply pressure. This has a chain reaction, as Diaz will come in from left centre back to track the runs of Valverde. Vinicius Jr. will then have a massive amount of space to exploit in behind Diaz, as Akanji would have to come all the way from the other side to keep tabs on the Brazilian. Real were trying to build up from the back, and Manchester City are in prime positions to put pressure on every nearby passing option. Carvajal is the only option available to Lunin, as Grealish has moved infield to apply pressure on Rüdiger. Once again, City trying to press Real Madrid high, and this time Grealish is on Rüdiger, meaning Guardiola has to warm up from left back to try and put pressure on Carvajal, but doesn't get there in time.
Grealish moving infield to try and pressure Rüdiger means Guardiola moves up to try and pressure Carvajal. Diaz then has to track the runs of Valverde into the wide areas, meaning there's a very big gap in City's defense, which Bellingham exploits and eventually leads to the opening goal for Real. Real Madrid being Real Madrid, despite being outplayed for most of the game, have made it to the semi-finals. Tough luck for City losing on penalties, but credits must go to Real Madrid and Carlo Ancelotti for adapting time and again to keep Manchester City quiet